Hi, you're listening to Behind the Bib podcast with Lisa Watkins. Real talk for every runner. Hi, y'all. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Behind the Bib podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Watkins. And immediately, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to me on your podcast platform, you are going to notice a little bit of a difference with this one. And that is because I am not recording from my home base in Huntsville. I'm actually over to or at my family's house in Georgia. Very North Georgia is where I'm from. And I didn't bring my microphone and my camera and stuff like that because I had to come over on quite short notice for a family emergency. Don't worry, everybody's fine. It's all fine now. It wasn't fine, but it's fine now. So I am actually recording sitting on the bedroom floor of my nephew's old bedroom. So that's what it's going to be for this week. But I still wanted to get on here and record a podcast because I actually am having people saying, thank you so much for the recording. I'm learning so much from you, and which I have this much information to give people, but I'm very happy to share what I have because it helped me, and I hope to help others too. I also hope to help our Southeastern running community, especially those of us who are back of the pack. I want to create space for those people, for people like me. Welcome to this episode. We are going to be talking about questions you can ask a runner that is your friend, family member, significant other after their race, besides, what was your time? Because there are so many other things with a race besides just what time did you get. And so I'm going to be offering some tips and suggestions for questions that you can ask besides what was your time. Okay. So quick update, like I said, I'm in Georgia. We had a family emergency, had to come over. Everybody's fine. Everybody's okay now. We're all good. But at the time, it very much was not fine. And that said, I had to come to Georgia to my family's place over here in Ellijay, Georgia to help out. Things were resolved. And so now I have some time on my hands. And I wanted to still get this podcast episode out, which, by the way, episode 12. Can you believe that? 12 weeks. I try to record and push an episode on Friday morning. This is actually pushing on Friday afternoon because, of course, family obligations and things like that. But I'm heading out in the bedroom to do it. Okay, so I'm in Georgia, which is not normally a place that I run. I do run when I come over here. And so when I came, I was like, hey, I just posted on Facebook, hey, y'all. In Georgia or Ellijay peeps, where should I go running this week while I'm here? And several folks commented back and said, oh, go running here, go running Harris Park or down by the river. There's a great greenway down there. And I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. And then one of my high school friends was like, hey, I like to run. You want to just meet up? And so I did. So a big shout out and thank you to Katie. Thank you for the run. You're such an inspiration. We had a great conversation, did about 5 miles down there by the river. And I'm just honored that you shared your story with me. So thank you. And I really did honestly have a great time. That is one of the great things about having a running buddy. About halfway through the run, she looked down, she's like, wow, we've already done 3 miles. And I was like, right? So when you're out there and you're listening to music or you're running with a friend, that's what happens. The miles and the time just flies by. So Katie, thank you for making that 5 miles fly by. All right. I want to give a shout out to all of the runners that are going to be doing Oak Barrel this weekend. I am there with you in spirit. I was going to go cheer with the pub run, but of course we had to come over to Georgia this weekend. So I think Jerry and Jeff have the pub run cheer station up on Oak Barrel. I think maybe they're up on Whiskey Hill. I'm not sure exactly where they're setting up to cheer. But if you are not running this weekend, I recommend that you go out there and meet them and cheer all of the runners for Oat Barrel on. Or maybe you've got runners, or maybe you are doing the Bridge Street Half Marathon. Shout out to Melanie and daughter who may be doing the Bridge Street Half Marathon this weekend. And if you're not doing the half marathon, go cheer, pass out pickles, little pieces of donuts, anything like that is always awesome when you're out there running. And y'all remember Melanie, who ran the Run the Cove with me a few weeks ago. So great job, Melanie. I can't wait to see how you do. All right. So let's get into the content. The content today is we are talking about things that you can ask your runner, the runner, a runner that you're talking to, besides, what was your time? What was your time? And I think people just do that because they want to kind of categorize themselves maybe against you. And so I never tend to answer the what was your time. I tend to answer was, oh, it was great. I had a great time. And I answer the question that I wish I was asked. Because I usually don't have a time-based outcome goal. Sometimes I do, and if you do, there is absolutely no problem with that. But not everybody does, and not every race does. Like maybe every race you're like, I don't have a time-based goal. I want to finish this race, right? I want to cross the finish line strong. I want to have negative splits, whatever that may mean for my time. I want to run the whole hill that's in the middle of the race. So you can have so many different types of goals. Extrinsic, which is external to you, like a time-based goal, or intrinsic goals, which is our internal goals, like I want to, have positive self-talk through the whole time. And you can also have those outcome extrinsic goals, like the time-based goals, or you can have process goals, like did I enjoy it? Did I give my personal best effort? And that for me is a key takeaway. Right? Did I give my personal best effort today, regardless of time, regardless of how many times I walked, and regardless of how I finished, or did I give my personal best effort that day? And that is the true key. At least it is for me. Did I give my personal best effort? Because really, what can you give more than your personal best? And I think that's true not only in running, but also in your day-to-day life. At least I know it is for me. Okay, so recently I read an article from Runner's World, and they posed one question that you can ask a runner out from their race or after their race, which was just, how did it go, right? This article was called Stop Asking Your Friends What Was Your Time After a Race and Say This Instead. It was published on March 26th, or at least this edition that I read was published on March 26th by Ashley Mateo. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. I think it might be Ashley Mateo. But I read that article, and in that article, it was a great question. It's like, how'd it go? It's super open-ended, and it allows people to speak to the things that they're most proud of, right? Or just, it's just so open-ended. That gives the runner an opportunity to talk about something that they personally felt proud of, and that might not be time. That might be that they tackled the hill that they didn't think that they were going to tackle, that they had a strong finish, that they had negative splits if that was a goal, or that they ran naked for the first time. And that doesn't mean like without your clothes on, please don't run that naked. It means without your watch, without focusing on time, running on feel, stuff like that. That's what running naked means. So that is a great question to start with. How'd it go? How'd you feel? Right? Like, that's so simple. And then it allows the runner to talk about what they enjoyed, what they thought was hard. Like, it allows the runner to focus on the most positive aspect of the race for them. How wonderful is that? Another question you can ask is, what do you think about the course? So I know with me and my run buddies, we always, we do the download after the run where it's, what did you think about this long straightaway? Or what did you think about that hill? Or, oh, wasn't that, long stretch through the sun just miserable? Because people bond through misery. I think that's part of what we do this, or why we do this. So I think it's a really great question is, what did you think about the course? Was it a flat course? Was it a hilly course? Was it rolling hills? It allows them to also find something beautiful. Like, oh my God, did you see the bluebells on the trail halfway down the mountain? It was amazing. It's like they talk about the experience, because running is so much more than the time, and then it allows the conversation to open up into something besides time, right? Another question you could ask is, what was the hardest part for you? And so that shifts the dialogue a little bit, because it allows somebody, if you're close to them, or if you want to start establishing more of a connection with somebody, one of the number one ways that I find that I do that is by being vulnerable with somebody. And it really takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable and talk about things that are vulnerable, like I didn't feel very strong on this run, or I didn't achieve this X, Y, and Z that I really wanted to. I didn't have the best self-talk, or I really struggle with this. And so when you get down to the kind of the nitty-gritty stuff, I think that makes for a much better conversation and an ability to connect with somebody. All right. Another question that you can ask is, what were you the proudest of? Again, it turns that conversation on to the runner talking about the most enjoyable moments of the race. What if their time wasn't the most enjoyable moment of the race? It allows them to speak to what the most enjoyable moment was. Maybe their most enjoyable moment was, I got to run this race with my best friend. I got to run this race with my awesome daughter. I got to run this race with a community that I'm part of. I got to run this race with, fill in the blank here. It allows them to talk about what they deem as their most proud moment in the race, right? Isn't that a much better question? All right, and finally, and I think the most important, and it's the most important for me, I know, and it's the one that I love to ask more than anything, which is, did you have fun? Because in the end, if you're not having fun, you are not going to come back. Well, maybe some of you might, but in general, if you're doing something and it's not fun, now granted, running isn't often fun while you're doing it. It's fun afterwards, which is why this is great to ask the question afterwards. Because it's like, maybe not so fun while you're doing it. But afterwards, it's like, did you have fun? And then that, again, turns the conversation to, yeah, I had a great time. Yeah, we felt wonderful coming down the hills, or we saw these beautiful flowers, or this fountain was blooming, or these cutest dogs were out there, whatever. And it just opens up the conversation so much further to the experience of the run, rather than the outcome. Don't we want to grow this community? Like, we all love to run and we probably started running for one reason or another, right? We either wanted to lose weight, or we're get in shape, or we were empty nesters and we needed to find something to fill our time. There's a whole myriad of reasons why we run. But I guarantee you, the reason that you come back to the run is that you started experiencing more benefits than just those outcome goals. Your mental health got better. Your physical health got better. The way you handled stress got better. The way you handled the hard parts of your life got better. Because during the run, when the hard times happen, when you enter solidly into the pain cave and you are like, I just don't know if I'm going to make it out of this pain cave, but then you do. All of that translates over into real life, over into what we're doing out here walking around, because by golly, this stuff can be hard. And running teaches you that you can do hard things. Finally, wrap up the questions one more time. You can ask, how did it go? You can ask, what did you think about the course? You can ask, what was the hardest part for you? You can ask, what moment were you the proudest of? And finally, and most important, you can ask, did you have fun? Because that is, I think, that is most important. Did you have fun? Because if you had fun, you're going to keep doing it. One of the things I love to say is that your pace doesn't define you, your effort does. And that's one of the reasons why I keep saying in my outcome goal that I give my personal best effort. And if I gave my personal best effort, I can say that was absolutely the best I could have done. I don't know about you, but that works for me. Okay. So I know it's a short episode this week, and that's again because see all of the stuff I talked about above. But hopefully this gave you some food for thought the next time that you finish a race and you're chit-chatting with your run buddies or your significant other or just friends at work. It gives you something to ask besides, what was your time? Because really, is the time most important? To some people it is. To a lot of people, it isn't, because it is so much more than just the time. All right, so this weekend, ask another runner something better than what was your time, and see what story you get from them. And let me know. Actually, that would be really cool. If you decided to ask some of these questions outside of what was your time, shoot me a DM or comment on the Instagram post or anything like that. And let me know, like, what conversations, I'm really curious, what conversations were started because you've thought to ask something besides what was your time. I think it'll be really interesting. All right, so upcoming races this weekend. We have got 2 big Huntsville races coming up this weekend. And oh my gosh, I wish I was there to do them, but I am not. But I will be in town for next weekend's races. So this weekend we have Bridge Street half marathon. It is, of course, out at Bridge Street, goes around Research Park out there. There is also Oak Barrel this weekend. I know everybody talks about Oak Barrel, and Oak Barrel literally sells out, I think, the morning that they open registration. I have yet to get into that half marathon. So all of you that are doing Bridge Street and Oak Barrel that commented on the post that I put out there, I wish you the best. I hope you have many, many happy miles. Your fueling strategy is just spot on. There's a porta pot every time you need one, and you cross that finish line feeling stronger and happier and like you had more fun than you ever had before. So that is my wish for you. Also, I want y'all to check out this 5th annual HBCU STEM education run. They actually opened a virtual option to this. I'm actually not even sure if they're doing an in-person 5K for it anymore. I need to look that up and check out. But you can register for virtual participation of this run, and I will pick the link to this run down into the show notes below if you want to go off and just do it on your own. Maybe you want to practice doing a 5K before you go and do an in-person 5K for the first time. That would be a good option. All right, and next weekend, the weekend of April 12th, 2 big runs. It's the Dueling Banjos. That's the preview run that I did last week with a group of fine young ladies from Huntsville, Alabama. And that Dueling Banjos is a 5K up the front side of a mountain and a 10K down the back of it. This is a trail race. It starts at the McMullen Cove clubhouse over there, and I can't remember the mountain that it runs up behind it, But the climb is serious. There's no joke. I know some people might have ran it. I absolutely did not. I 100% walked it, hiked it, I guess you could say. And then we ran down the backside, and we did intervals some, and we did solid running some. We just kind of went on feel for that one. But that is coming up next weekend, and that should be a super great podcast after that. We're going to give you the down low on the dueling banjos. Also next weekend, there's a 5K downtown called Salmon Run 5K. It's along with that hot wing festival that I hope to be able to go to. And the Salmon Run, salmon is named after one of the gentlemen in that community that had passed. I think his nickname was Fish. And so now they call it the Salmon Run 5K because it benefits that Memorial Foundation. All right, so those are some of the upcoming races this weekend and next weekend. I want to say thank you to all of my listeners. Thank you to the folks that have given me feedback on more platforms to push to. I always appreciate that because it's not that hard to push the RSS feed to additional platforms. And I also wanted to give a special shout out. Thank you to Katie, who reminded me that you can control two things today: your effort and your attitude. And thank you. Thank you for going running with me. Thank you for the great conversation while we were running. I really appreciated that. And if y'all would, please go check out Behind the Bib podcast on Instagram, Behind the Bib on Facebook, Behind the Bib podcast on YouTube, where you can see this crazy mug on YouTube. And especially today with not super great lighting and probably not a great mic fill and sound, but it is what it is for today. Finally, let me know what platforms you want me to push to. I would love to do that. All right, folks. Thanks again for listening. This has been episode 12 of Behind the Bib podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Watkins. We'll see you next time. Take care. You've been listening to Behind the Bib with your host, Lisa Watkins. Real talk for every runner.